Local Mortgage is a proud supporter of Camilla Proctor and her Camilla the Momzilla podcast. Local Mortgage is a family-owned mortgage company in Memphis, Tennessee. Our family knows how important a home can be to your family. When it comes time to buying your first home, or if your family size has outgrown your current house, we have the experience and expertise to help you. On top of 50 years of combined experience, we also offer rates that are consistently below the national average, helping to make your new home more affordable. You can see current rates, calculate payments, and learn all about home buying at localmortgage.com. When you are ready, we are here. Local Mortgage is an equal opportunity lender licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, and Colorado. NMLS number 1855068.
This one's for the mothers. You gotta love the mothers. And you gotta hug the ones who bring us joy and love. It's the middle with the moms and it's your day. I said now this one's for the mothers. You gotta love the mothers. And you gotta hug the ones who bring us joy and love. It's the middle with the moms and it's your day.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for your patience on this episode. I am so excited to finally get this episode out there. Averie is an inspiration and an incredible woman we can all learn from. I absolutely loved having this conversation with her. Our husbands are friends, and the second I met her, I was like, yep, she's fucking awesome. Excuse my French. I knew how passionate she was about her job and about a healthy lifestyle, but I didn't know all that her job entails and how truly knowledgeable and awake she is. I learned so much from her, and I absolutely will be having her back on to talk about other subjects. I love doing this podcast. My goal from the get-go is to help people not feel alone, to learn important information, and to get back to what God gave us. And this episode truly embodies that. Speaking of episodes, episode 8 is my part 1 of my health journey, and I haven't posted a part 2 yet. So part 2 will come out next week, and I'm going to talk about a couple things. First, going to talk about creatine and the benefits of it, the research that is done on it, and what I've noticed personally while taking it. I've said it before, I'm not going to put anything on here or sell anything that I haven't tried myself and seen the benefits of it. I do sell creatine, and it's a delicious, cute little gummy from a company called Create. They're a husband and wife who just decided to make the first gummy creatine. I love it. I love their story, so I will attach the link there, and you can get 20% off using the code Camilla the Momzilla 20. I want to shout it from the rooftops, especially since it's so good for your reproductive system and could possibly help with your fertility. I'm also going to go into detail about the daily detox the kids and I do and the research and benefits of it we've seen personally. Then I'm going to talk about what's going on with my son Raylan. He had an injury at birth that was dismissed by his first and second pediatrician many times. I didn't follow my mom gut, and I just blindly trusted in them, and I don't want to say I regret it, but I mean, if I could go back, I would change a lot of things. But I absolutely do not blame my OB. These things happen, and she immediately, multiple times, talked to Wade and I about it. So when we told her, the pediatrician said that he was completely fine, nothing was wrong with whatever she thought happened to his collarbone or shoulder, she kind of seemed shocked, but she was extremely thankful. So seeing her being shocked, I wish I'd gotten another opinion. But, I'm here now, and we are taking the right steps to help him. So I will go into detail about that as well. It will be a big episode filled with wonderful information. I also just want to thank everyone for continuing to listen to the episodes. Thank you for contacting me and letting me know your thoughts or how I've helped you, or just encouraging me to keep going. Hearing that even just one episode has helped you, or that you've woken up from these and decided to take control of you and your children's health, makes all of this worth it. So don't stop reaching out. One last thing, the first time ever my SIM card on this or during this episode in my soundboard corrupted. So the beginning audio for like 20 minutes is unfortunately my camera's audio, but thank God, for a backup. I burned that SIM card to the ground, so that will never happen again. But it still doesn't ruin the goodness of this episode with Averie. So, okay, here we go. This is Averie Thayer. Okay, well, welcome to my office. No, I'm just kidding. To my studio. This is my team behind me.
I want to thank everybody that makes this all work. It's me, myself, and I.
The editors, my sponsors. Thank you for coming. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you're here in person because you live in beautiful Nashville. Oh. Who did that? The camera's on my phone.
Oh no.
Layla. Oh my god. I thought it was going to fall. But anyway, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. So excited to be here.
So excited. We met because your husband and my husband are little besties.
Yes, they are.
And we met at a wedding and hit it off, and I just thought I was like, okay, she's the coolest person ever. Cody, don't mess this up.
That's right.
And he didn't. You better still not.
No, we're in it now.
Yeah, we're in it. Yeah, for sure. Got a wedding license and everything. Or marriage license.
Yes, yeah.
But, yes, I just loved talking to you, and I love, we're friends on Instagram, and so I love seeing your journey and your posts and your new company and business that you've started. You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're a homesteader.
Yeah,
you really
trying
are.
to be. Yeah.
And I love it. I'm so into it. I got some tomatoes out there. My little tomato plant. I haven't got the wires yet for it.
That's okay. That takes time.
But hopefully we want to do more, like some zucchini squashes or something.
Yes.
But we'll see. But I'm super into it, and I would love for you to talk about that too.
For sure.
But one of your businesses that you started, I think would be huge for my listeners to just hear about it. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, so you just go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Camilla, so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and try to get the word out. My name's Averie. I'm an occupational therapist by profession and license. Most people say, what's that? So here we go. We're going to dive in.
Do it.
Occupational therapy from the beginning, it was actually formed after World War I. These soldiers were coming home to the United States after tragic thing. I mean, in World War I, they had started using weapons at that time that no one had ever experienced before. This was new technology at that time. And so soldiers were coming home with not just horrific physical injuries, but truly, for the first time, that's where, PTSD was really starting to be, actually, that term was starting to be coined because soldiers were coming home with, like, horrific mental illness as well.
Right.
And scars that weren't necessarily seen. So that's how occupational therapy was founded, was helping these soldiers, and primarily the main theory behind getting them better was working with their hands. Our hands, our arms and our hands are how we as humans interact with the world, and it's what makes us human. One of the things that makes us human, we're able to interact with the world around us with our hands. And so it was thought that was the path back to mental wellness, was interacting with your world with your hands, doing something productive, creating something with your hands. So as soon as I kind of learned that and knew the history behind occupational therapy, and I've always been fitness girly. I always thank my parents to this day of not pushed me in a bad way, but being active was a priority for our family and for me, and so I am so thankful for that. So from a very young age, being active, being mobile, being into fitness, being into exercise was a priority and very important. And I'm grateful for that and how it's carried into my life. So when I went to college at University of Tennessee, that's how I came to Tennessee in the first place, because I'm from Michigan. Right. So every once in a while, if y'all hear kind of a weird word once in a while, I can't remember what word Cody's always, I don't know.
You've definitely picked up a little Southern accent.
For sure, absolutely. My parents are like, you are Southern.
That's so funny. Yeah. I still hear Michigan though in there. But
it's a weird mix.
Yeah, I love it.
So anyway, so that's how I came down when I was 18 to University of Tennessee, and it's time, as every 18-year-old is like, well, what do I do with the rest of my life? Fitness and exercise just was super natural for me. So I chose to go. My bachelor's degree in kinesiology, which is the study of human movement.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fascinating, and I those 4 years absolutely flew by. In fact, I wish I had failed a couple classes.
That's so funny.
Not really, but like I wish it had gone slower because I loved it so much. Like I got to senior year
I love that.
and I was like, what the heck do I do with the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I was like, I want to take fitness, I think, to the next level of actual like health. I want not just fitness, but I want to rehab, I want to take it into the medical field. So I spent the couple years after after my bachelor's degree, just kind of searching, for what that was for me. Was I going to go nursing, PA school? I had all these choices. I didn't really think I wanted to go to med school, but, that was kind of on the table for me.
Yeah. Well,
then I did start to volunteer and work at various places and start to get into patient care. And at the same time, I was a personal trainer, and I was in the fitness industry. And way back, I have branding photos. I have a blog that I wrote one blog on.
That's funny.
Yeah, back when you're like a child, basically.
Yeah, when that was like new then too. Like
for sure. Oh, social media was not even a thing. It's crazy to think that Instagram was really not a thing 10 years ago.
No, I thought that when it first happened, like I was in college, I thought that it was an editing app just for pictures. So I'm like posting all these pictures, not knowing it's like for the public, and it was like, blah, blah, I like this. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And now it's just like everything. I need it for business. I love it.
Lives, for sure. For better or for worse, it has changed our lives.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So anyways, I'm also a horse girly. I love riding. I think horses are super therapeutic, and we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah. But I was riding horses one day at this barn, and I noticed these kids, like, riding but not. Like, they were riding backwards, they were laying down, they were doing all these funky things, and I'm like, what is happening over there? And it turns out they were doing therapy. They were doing physical, occupational, and speech therapy. And so I started to volunteer with those therapists and learn from them, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to rehabilitate folks after they have had experienced disability, illness, or injury. So that's how I got into occupational therapy in the first place. So that moved me to Nashville. I went to Belmont University, and I now have my doctorate in occupational therapy.
That is so badass. That's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I am I was Dr. Khan. Now I guess I'm Dr. Thayer.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how that
hysterical.
works. Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
The horse thing too.
For sure.
Did you just like go up to them and be like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, literally. Yes. I think it was after the session, but yes, I was like, what is happening? Can I get involved? Yes, 100%. It is absolutely like I was meant to be at that time and place, because, oh my gosh, the amount of times that I've had self-doubt, even now, I mean, daily, sometimes it feels like where I'm sitting here going, what am I doing? Sometimes it feels like, why did I make this choice? Why did I make that choice? If I had only chosen this, I would be in such a different place. Right. A lot of times that comes up with financial doubt, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You're not sure where your next paycheck truly is coming from, and that is a scary place to be, and it makes you go, oh my God, what am I doing? Why don't I just work a job like a normal quote-unquote person? And I have to go back to those moments where I'm like, remember how you felt in that moment. You knew. And the universe is always trying to push you in the right direction and tell you, like, this is where you're meant to be right now. So
and you want to love what you do.
For sure.
I have quite a few friends who hate what they do.
I know.
And then they have a baby, and then of course it's so hard leaving your child, and so when they get to that point and have to go back to work, they don't want to, because they don't even like their job. So following your dreams and your goals is so important, because I'm in the same spot with the entrepreneurship. I'm like, I hope somebody books a session or books a wedding.
Totally.
But, instead of stressing about it, I just pray about it, and I try to be calm, and I'm lucky I have Wade, who also has a job and is my teammate in that, and we're like, we're not the richest people in the world. We don't have the greatest savings account, but it's going to get somewhere if we just keep working.
Absolutely. And you have to trust that, like, whatever that is, your intuition that's inside of you, you have to trust that it is pushing you in the right direction, even if in the moment you're like, I am crazy.
Yes. Yes.
And self-doubt is a very real thing, so good kudos to you. And even on this Mother's Day, cheers to the men, cheers to the husbands as well, who support the mothers and us as we do these crazy things, because I feel like both of them are like, if we bring them an idea, they're kind of like, okay, that might be inconvenient, but we'll go for it.
Yes, for sure. Like, Wade just now, when I come up with things, he's like, all right, go for it. Yeah, okay.
So continuing on my occupational therapy journey, jumped into the field, and I was so ready to make a change and make a difference. And, I believe that I did, or have, I did the math the other day, actually, and in 4.5 years now of practicing, I have helped over 8,000 people.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, because I just did some simple math on, like, the average amount of patients I see in a day and how many years I've worked, and I have touched 8,000 lives.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so,
thankful for you.
Thank
that's
you.
Incredible.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
This job is incredible. I didn't even realize that's what it is.
Yeah, so it helps rehabilitate folks. We work, oftentimes alongside physical therapy and speech language pathologists that, are working with anybody from kids. I mean, there are OTs in the NICU.
Right.
All the way up to there are OTs in hospice. I mean, we work the total length of a person's lifespan, and you can get certified and specialize in all these different areas.
Okay.
And so, a really, one thing that I've learned about occupational, or something that somebody said that I was like, oh my God, that just describes it perfectly. Imagine you have a door, and that door is locked for whatever reason. And some people have the key, and they have the key their entire lives, and they aren't ever really affected. And they use the key to open that door and go in and out as they please. Well, there are lots of people that, whether it happens, from the moment that they're born in the NICU, or at some point throughout their life, maybe not until older age, but they lose their key. They lose the ability to get through that door. And an occupational therapist is going to help you find that key again. It's going to make a new key, or if we need to, we'll bust down the door and create a new way to get through. And that's what an occupational therapist truly does.
Awesome.
Is modify the activity or get you better so that the activity is accessible to you again. And it just aligns so well with, my heart and who I feel like, why I was put here to help people for sure.
And every single person is different, so it sounds like y'all base everything on that person and not just the same routine appointment every time, and that's what matters to me.
For sure. Yes, our huge mantra is we are client-centered and client-focused. So yes, there's a sort of a template that we all kind of have in our heads, and then our favorite answer is, because someone will be like, well, what do you do with this person? And my favorite answer is, well, it depends, because it truly does. Who is this human being that's sitting in front of me? I cannot tell you how many times in those 8,000 people, you have their chart ahead of time before you ever meet them. So you get all their demographic information. You get their age. You get their, obviously, the story of what has happened to them, either from the hospital or whatever. And you learn, you read, and you create this mental picture in your head of what this person looks like. It's just natural. It's just we as human beings, and you look and think what they look like. And then you meet them in person. And I'm not kidding you when I say, like, more than half the time, you go, oh my God, that is not at all who I thought I was about to meet, because the person behind that chart is so different. And I find that really cool, especially when the person that, you're like, oh my gosh, in my mind I had created this like weak, frail little person, and then you meet this person and you're like, oh, we're going to have some fun because this person is going to bring it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is really, really special. So as empowering, as amazing as that is, not to bring the mood down, but even in just 4 years, I've found myself like feeling honestly failed by the healthcare system, both as a practitioner and from the patient. I'm like, this system is not working for us. Neither of us. It's not working for us, healthcare practitioners, and it's not working for the patient.
What's this specifically?
Totally. So, I mean, we're all familiar with health insurance, right? Which is, a situation that we have created for ourselves that can be incredibly helpful. I'm sure it has helped many people and many people's lives, and yet it has us absolutely trapped.
Yeah.
It's like the golden handcuffs, you know? If you don't have health insurance, all of a sudden, a lot of things become inaccessible to you.
Yeah, and this is just, throw that out, don't forget where you're going with this.
Yeah,
but
no, I won't.
My friend got her medical bill after she had her baby from the hospital, and it was probably like $400, $600, and she was like, wow, well, maybe they didn't take my insurance. I'm going to give them my insurance, and maybe that'll come down. well, she gave them their insurance, and they're like, okay, $8,000.
Yep.
And she was like, excuse me? And they're like,
yes.
Well, if you don't have insurance, it's this. So what is the point of insurance? So she was like, well, can you pretend I didn't say I had insurance?
Right.
And they were like, no.
Nope.
But she's trying
it's
to fight
illegal.
it. I'm like, fight it. That's ridiculous.
It is insane.
And there's like a time period where they can bill you. I just learned this from Rachel the other day.
Absolutely.
There's a time period, and if they don't do it within like, it depends, I think, on the state or something. Yep. But if you don't do it within 60 days or something like that, you don't have to pay it. Or like if they don't bill you, I don't know. But it is a trap.
It is a trap.
And
it
it's
feels
not
like a
helpful.
trap.
Like, and it's supposed to be helping us.
Absolutely. I will go back to where we were, but just on this little rabbit hole. There's a new sort of, what is it? It's like a type of service that's called direct primary care, and it is a fascinating, growing field, and it's where, I'm not the only one. Occupational therapists, physical therapists, speech therapists, we aren't the only ones who are like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, we're all like, what's going on?
Right.
So there are some very courageous, healthcare warriors out there who are starting their own businesses, and they're offering direct primary care services. And I had a recent meeting with one of them. She's in Nashville. She's amazing. And she started her own business as a nurse practitioner. And she was telling me, because I was asking her, okay, if I refer a patient to you, and she goes to their homes, she's mobile, and she goes to their homes, and I'm like, you do an exam and you realize that they do need further imaging. They need an x-ray, they need this or that to further just determine what's going on.
Right.
I was like, what happens? Because they're paying her just cash,
right,
which is way cheaper
Yeah.
than if they were using her insurance. They're just paying her a flat fee.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I just give them the order and they go to the x-ray technician and they just hand them the order. And I was like, okay, well, how much is that for them? Like that's where it's got to start to get that's where you really want the insurance, right? And she goes, no, x-rays are $50 out of pocket. But if you gave them your insurance card, they are $500. So insurance has determined what the price of that x-ray is. It's wild.
I just went through that because we go to a, I guess you'd call it a nurse practitioner, pediatric nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
And so because we've had so many pediatrician problems, so we found her, and she's an angel from heaven, like a godsend. Yeah. So we pay her, out of pocket, like cash for the appointments. Yeah. But Raylan, when he was born, they thought he might have broken his shoulder blade or something.
Yeah, pretty common.
But the pediatrician at the time said everything's fine. But you look at him and you're like, okay, that's not right. Like it's not even. I would love for you to look at it. Actually.
I would love to. Yeah.
Well, I'll pay you. But so we went to go get an X-ray.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so expensive. Mm-hmm. I said while we were there, I knew it was going to be that expensive, but when it's your kid, it's your kid. I said, can you just go ahead and take pictures of both? Because I don't think that would make it more expensive for me, and I don't want to come back. No, we can't. I was like, I promise you, y'all are going to look at it and then need the other side to compare. No,
because they didn't order it.
I was right.
Yep. Like it shouldn't be about whatever insurance thinks that they need.
Right. I'm glad that you're saying that because our pediatric nurse practitioner
insurance took
insurance
they
heard us.
They heard us. They shut our equipment down.
Okay. I'm going to I don't know what happened. So sorry.
All good. Like I said, I think those companies. Am I off?
No, you're on.
I'm on.
Here, I'll turn it up more.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. All right.
The government was listening.
They were.
What I was saying is I'm so glad you said that because we were having a moment when we were going through all this health stuff. And when we
were in it.
It was nuts. Like our kids were constantly sick, surgeries. And I wish I knew what I knew now. Sure. But we're here and everything's good. But going to this pediatric nurse practitioner, it's expensive.
Of course it is.
But, with what I need from her and what I need for my kids, it couldn't be more worth it.
For sure.
And one time I was going to have to, Raylan literally, it said 100 and, I think, was it 106 or something? Bad fever. It was reading that. And he was on fire, but he's talking. He was eating cereal. And so I'm like freaking out inside.
Sure,
and I'm like texting her. I'm like, what do it? Because I was just there. And she's so sweet. She's like texting me. And she has her own kids.
Right.
But But she's like, you might need to bring it back in. And I'm like, that's $200 for, me not to even get an answer. And after I said that, I was like, oh God, I should not have said that to her. Cause I'm like, I feel so bad. And of course she was like so sweet about it. Yeah. But I'm like, listen to what you're saying and everything she has to pay for and deal with all this. Yeah. But
well, she sounds amazing. And I definitely, especially if you find the right fit of a healthcare person, stick with them.
I know. Yes.
This is not to say, but you may want to explore the direct primary care idea and see if she maybe already, I don't know what she's in maybe, but the cool thing about it is oftentimes you pay like a monthly, it's like a membership.
Right.
And you pay a flat fee and then you get as much access to that so you don't have to worry about the $200 every visit. It's $200 for the month.
Okay. And so I just talked to her about that?
Maybe, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if she's in. Yeah. It's a new model.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking for. Model of healthcare.
Okay.
That is going to take this world by storm, and insurance companies, watch out.
Okay.
Because people are waking up.
Yeah, good.
They are, like we said earlier, they are waking up and they are getting clued into that this is crap. And I'm here to tell you from the healthcare side, we are not your enemy. It is the insurance company because we feel the same way.
Right.
Not only do we feel like we're kind of getting gypped for our compensation for our services, but we feel like our patients are getting gypped, and we are getting gypped as the therapist of like, how can someone behind a desk who's never, all they're relying on is my notes. So now I have to become an expert documentation because my patient's health depends on it. Their life, if their insurance company is going to approve more services, I better have documented like their life depends on it. Not like my career
depends.
It's a lot of
pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And do you know how bad it feels when insurance companies do come back and say, nope, denied. Or here's another one. They love to play this game. Now this is Medicare specific, but they will pay for a service after, patient received services. Here's documentation, boom, boom, boom. And then they'll have an auditor come back through up to 3 years later and take the money back.
Why and how is that legal?
Love those questions, Camilla. Don't have the answer.
What?
Love those questions. Can take the money back after rereading and auditing the documentation up to 3 years later and determine that service actually wasn't necessary based on only the document. I'm not even talking about not based on a video, not based on an audio, not like they do in court where they do all this. Based on a note.
Can you fight it? Can you sue?
I think you can, yes, but
then
that process itself is so, clinics are just like, no, we're just going to take the loss.
Why is every system with health corrupt? I feel like
it feels that way.
It's not for the patient. Yes. It's for money.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. So here's the bright side. Let's dig ourselves out of this emotional hole. People like me and like nurse practitioners who are, I call them, these healthcare warriors who are out there and are saying enough is enough. Yeah. Enough for our patients, enough for us. We deserve better than this too. We are out here changing the game, and we're creating a new model that is more accessible to patients and then allows us to, have more resources. If anything, charging what I charge for my sessions, it ends up just going back into my business. It just ends up going back in. I can buy the coolest new piece of equipment that I know is going to help my patients that I want to use. It helps me go to across the country to another certification that allows me to get even more expert, specialty and certifications. Like it just ends up helping everybody. So, we're out here changing the game, and that's why I started living Revved Therapy.
Yes.
Girl, I was up at night kind of trying to come up with this name for this business because I'm like, this has to resonate with people. It has to matter. And I chose Living Revved Therapy because I think that most of us are just sleepwalking through life. Society in general right now is just sleepwalking.
It's the truth.
And living to die, basically. Yeah. We are addicted to technology, whether we...
Constant.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm anything that I say moving about everybody, I am so not putting myself in a silo. Like
for sure.
I am as addicted to it as anybody else. because the world is meant to be addictive. All day long, the world is meant to pull your heart and your attention. No, this is important. No, this is important. No, this is important. No, pay attention. This is important. Look over here. And our brains were not designed to deal with the level of input that we're getting all day long.
I agree with you.
And technology has just taken, phones specifically, social media has taken it to a whole new level. So we can go down that rabbit hole. We could do a whole nother podcast on that.
Well, we will. We will.
Sounds good. But I created Living Revved Therapy with that name in mind because I'm like, people are sleepwalking through life, and we need to wake up. We need to live revived and realize that living is not just avoiding sickness.
Yeah.
It should be optimizing health.
Everything you're saying is what woke me up.
For sure. Yeah. I had the most amazing, I have a great team of my healthcare system that I go to that I'm a patient at. They're called Hopewell Family Care. I highly encourage you and everyone else to follow them. They are in Nashville, so obviously you're not going to be a patient.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. Hey, that'd be cool.
But the owner, Jamie Aroro, she's absolutely a pioneer in this holistic healthcare movement as well. Okay. She is a nurse practitioner, and she's got a powerhouse of nurse practitioners behind her.
That's awesome. That's so badass.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had that here.
Yeah. And I became a patient. And here's what's scary too. I'm in the healthcare field, and I know how important it is to advocate for yourself and be like, oh, no one cares more about my health than me. So I'm going to fight for my own health. And I had an MD in Nashville when I first moved, because having a primary care doctor is important to me. And I could just tell. I was like, this person does not care about me or who I am, my labs.
Yeah. I was someone that would give every detail about everything, because I'm like, they're listening to everything I'm saying, and they're going to figure this out.
No, 5 minutes.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. And again, this is not to down. I'm a healthcare person, so I'm not out here, downing on all these doctors and everything. Right. They are inundated with patients. They are golden handcuffs at the mercy of insurance. They don't it's not their fault. They're a victim of the system as well.
They're a victim of the system. They're doing what they were taught.
For sure. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, no, I ain't getting out of here, because I need someone to, so that's how I found Hopewell Family Care.
Love that. Okay.
And my nurse practitioner, for the first time ever, guess what? All my except for like one, came back normal. And yet she was like, but even though you're technically normal in, for example, my magnesium, she was like, you're like 2 points away from not normal.
Okay.
So she was like, you're 30. You should be optimal.
Right.
Why? Why aren't you optimal? Like, let's check into that. And that was the first, I know. And I was like mind blown. And I'm in the healthcare field, and I was like mind blown. Why has nobody ever said you shouldn't be yes, you're normal. Right. That you're in this range, but you're 2 points away from not being normal. That means tomorrow you could literally
exactly.
not be
but
normal.
They'll see you next year.
For sure. And she was like, no, we're digging into this. We're going to figure it out.
Wow. I love that.
Yes.
That's beautiful. What you need. Great example.
Yes. Hopewell Family Care. So, so I am going to model my services after that too. Okay. Yeah. You walk normal. Or fine. And this, again, all these normal ranges, that's exactly what insurance loves to hear, because it doesn't matter if you are 2 points away from dysfunction. Yeah. You aren't. You're in normal. Right. So guess what? Services are not covered. Not covered. So to me, I'm like, screw that. You walk fine. You're one step away from tragedy. Yeah. I can throw some statistics out there.
Do it.
So this is more speaking to older adults, but 1 in 4 over the age of 65 people in this country fall every year. 1 in 4 people over the age of 65.
Wow. Just from
lose. Yeah. A lot of times it's tripping over something. They lose their balance. Their reactivity time, which is, I think, a lot what people underestimate, your reactivity time lowers. Your mobility in general, just being able to like look over your shoulder, that's a huge fall risk. If you cannot look over your shoulder, that indicates fall risk. Wow. Yeah, because if something startles you and you can't appropriately, manage that. So anyways, 1 in 4 people over the age of 65 fall. Of those 20 people that fall and experience an injury, 25% of those people will die within a year. Let that sink in. And you're like, why? It's not necessarily because of the hip fracture that they got and then the surgery. It's because they were living 2 points outside of normal prior to the fall. And this fall set them so far back out of normal and into dysfunction that they now can't live alone anymore. They need to give up their home and go live in a nursing home. They can't do any of the same activities that they wanted to do. They can't, participate in their normal activity days of daily living, and they die. Their soul dies. Their want for life dies. And that's why, coming back to my title, we are going to live revived. We are not going to live 2 points away from normal. We are going to live optimally. So that when injury and illness does take hold, because it will, we're human beings and everybody is going to be affected by injury and illness and disability at some point, we aren't going to just, our whole lives are going to be destroyed. We're not going to be that 25% of the population. No. In fact, my goal is to change that statistic so that it's not 25% of the people die within a year of fracturing their hip, that it's way less than that. It's, I would make it 0% if I could, because I don't want people living 2 points away from normal. And then having tragedy take their life away, literally.
It's just so sad.
It is, yeah. So how do I make this relate more to your listeners? Because you're probably like, 65 is so far away. And it does kind of seem far away when you're 32.
I don't know. I think because I am awake, I'm living every day like it's my last, because I'm like, I'm a parent now. I'm the parent. Like my parents are the parents and I'm the kid. And so, I'm like thinking about them when they were my age. That really wasn't that long ago.
No.
So I'm like, I'm not saying I'm like scared of aging or anything. It's beautiful and life is beautiful. And I truly believe, I hope that I'll get to go to heaven one day when I'm really old, maybe 100. But I'm awake and I'm going to live every day. I mean, obviously there's bad days and, I can be a negative, anxiety-ridden person, but I'm going to try to live every day like it's my last. But I'm like setting my body up for optimal success, optimal health, like you said. And you got to take care of yourself. Your body has to live young. You have to, like, even though I'm not a little kid, I'm out there playing duck, duck, goose with them. Even though I don't want to, I'm really tired. I'm going to do it. And that makes my body keep going. And I mean, and there's other things, supplements you can take, other things you can do that just make you feel young and make you feel better. And, and so if we set ourselves up for success now, so it is important, then at that time we will not be in that statistic.
Totally. 1,000%. Yep. And you're doing it, yes, primarily for yourself, Camilla, but you're also doing it for your kids. You're doing it for them so that, you aren't ever a burden on them. You aren't ever, you don't need, people think that there's, that aging means that you just become this like frail little creature that has to be taken care of. And I am here to tell you and this is research, okay? I doctorate in occupational therapy and I do the research. I read the research rather. I don't necessarily do it, but I read the research that's out there.
Which is important though, because some people don't.
For sure. And it is absolutely untrue that aging is in and of itself what makes people become frail.
Yep.
The aging actually doesn't have a lot to do with it. It's you stop living. You stop doing the things. And this is a slow creep. This is like, that metaphor of like, how do you kill a frog in a boiling pot of water? You just raise the temperature 1 degree at a time. Ooh. Yeah. And it just boils to death because it doesn't realize that the water is slowly getting hot because you're only doing it 1 degree at a time. So then it dies.
Yeah.
Same thing with aging. If you stop, here's the thing. I do yoga at least twice a week. I try, sometimes more.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, I am never going to stop doing a downward dog.
Good.
I am never going to stop doing, the chaturanga position, which is basically a tricep push-up.
Right.
I am not going to stop doing warrior 2. And if I never stop, unless I am somehow affected by horrible tragedy or disability,
Knock on wood.
I am never going to stop doing those things. And so I plan on doing them the day before I die.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep functioning that way if you don't stop doing them all the way until the end.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so important.
But it does, well, let me say two things. Number one, it is actually never too late. They have done actual real studies that your body responds to exercise, which is technically stress that you put on the body, but it's a good stress that you put on the body.
Right.
It responds to exercise no matter what age you are at. So it is never too late.
Right.
I hope anyone listening doesn't think that, well, I'm a certain age, it's done for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
However, the protective benefits, just like if you start saving money in the account and you're in your accounts when you're 20 versus if you start saving when you're 40, they have a compound effect.
Right.
Absolutely. So mamas out there or pre-mamas, wherever you're at on the schedule of life, you can start today, right now.
Yeah.
And I think this is where if you don't know where to start or it does feel impossible because, oh my God, I'm sure it feels impossible.
Yeah.
It feels impossible to me some days, and I don't have any babies screaming, clawing on my legs. Like, so I can't imagine how that feels to be like, I have this little or these multiple little lives literally depending on me for everything.
Right, right.
How do you prioritize exercise and mobility? But you have to make a way. And this is where hiring a professional, whether that is a personal trainer or if you want to go a little in deeper, someone like me, an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, I mean, start somewhere. Yeah. Follow we have too many resources at our fingertips now. Let's use social media and the internet in a good way because all too often it's trying to drag us down too much, but use it as the tool that it can be to help make you healthier. You can Google right now and you can come up with some pretty badass exercises just from at your fingertips.
Right.
Boom. You don't have to hire a professional.
Right.
Sign up for the group classes. Or if group classes make you want to puke because you can't imagine getting down on the floor in front of somebody else, then do the one-on-one training.
Right.
But start somewhere. It's so important.
You got to take that first step.
Absolutely. Your life depends on it and your kids' lives depend on it too.
I completely agree. And another thing is, for us, like money, I'm sacrificing like absolutely everything that I use. Like when Wade and I met, I was going to the gym every day and I was doing hot yoga every day. I was getting my hair done, my nails done. Like that's not important stuff, but I was doing all this stuff. I was going to Whole Foods and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like I sacrifice it. I don't do that like at all. Like if I get a birthday present to go get my nails done, like Margaret gave me, then I got my nails done. But I'm sacrificing all of that for our financial stuff, like their school, what we eat, our supplements, because, that's important to me. So
for sure.
What am I going to do? I'm going to go outside and work out.
And
go outside in your backyard.
Yes, I saw the video that you recently posted. That was amazing.
Mom life.
Yes.
But still doing it. Still out there.
But you're doing it, and you're absolutely killing it. And I can't tell you how inspiring it is to all your followers and for myself included. And I'm a fitness exercise mobility expert professional. And I watch you out there and I'm like, I'm going to get out there too. Like you influence people and you change people by setting an example. And I think that's amazing.
That's my goal with this. I'm like, even just one person, because I have felt overwhelmed with all the health information and all the things going on. Like, even though, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've told you my parents were into fitness and I would love to talk about what we talked about last night, watching parents, but I watched them work out all the time. My dad was an athlete. Yeah. So I've always been, like pretty healthy or into it, but I have been totally tricked by like different foods that we're putting in our body or medication that I was taking. I've been bamboozled by these things. And now that I'm awake in this, it felt so overwhelming and I had postpartum anxiety. I was like panic attacks with stuff. So I had to just like take a deep breath and be like, okay, I'm going on this journey for my kids, figuring out the truth, figuring out what I can do with my body, to be healthy and live a long life. So I said, okay, one step at a time. Yes. And so I love where I am now and starting season 2 of this podcast back. I'm like, all right, guys, y'all come along with me and you start somewhere. If it's just drinking purified water, not tap water, that's step 1. Do that for a week. Now let's do step 2 or, whatever. So
I love it for you and I love it for your followers because it is so needed. And honestly, you're doing better work than some of the healthcare people out there who are,
Isn't that
again,
sad?
victims of the system, but they aren't, they've got their head down and like this. And it's like, no, we need to wake up.
We've got to.
Yeah.
And I think there's a shift happening.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be some, backlash on stuff, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of doctors who are, maybe have been awake, but aren't scared anymore.
Sure.
They don't care either. It's got to be about, like, first of all, our life is beautiful. God put us on this earth. We should enjoy it and not be stressed, not be working to death.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
We need to be nourishing our bodies with healthy food.
Yeah.
Like, everything you put in your body is important.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be so stressful. We shouldn't be being bankrupt just to get an appointment to see if your knee's okay. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
yep.
anyway.
Yep. I think going off that too, if you are, first of all, if you don't go to the doctor, schedule an appointment, find someone that aligns with you.
Right.
And then on your first appointment, here's some red flags that you can look for. If your doctor is not asking you how you're sleeping,
Okay.
how you're moving, how your what's your exercise routine looking like? What is your diet looking like? And kind of the taboo, but how's the bathroom going for you? I mean, that's a real thing that is a great measure. Your body tells you pretty much every day if things are going well or not.
Pretty common sense stuff if you ask me, but they're not asking you
If
that.
they're not asking you those things, and even worse, if they not only didn't ask you about those things, but you came up with something that is, oh yeah, this is kind of going on, and you walk out of there with a prescription, go somewhere else.
Yes.
Find someone else that asks you those questions.
Yes.
Are you getting outside and getting some sunlight?
Yes.
Are you going to the bathroom regularly? How is your sleep? And what are you putting into your body?
Boom. Yeah. I have someone who is just so sucked into that system, and I can't, it's like they're too far gone. I can't get them out, and you can only help so much. People can only want to listen so much, and you can't shove it down their throats.
No. And you can only just be there for them. Yeah. And then, when they're ready, be that person that when they are ready, that you're like, I'm ready for you. Yeah.
But for example, you were saying don't leave with a prescription. Even something like, hey, I'm not using the bathroom very well. Okay, well, go take some Miralax. No, that's literally like, let's get to the root problem. I was telling you last night about Casey Means. She's an incredible doctor. Like, you have to read her book called Good Energy. You would love it.
Well, she's about to become one of the most influential doctors in our country.
So. I mean,
So we better read up on what she's, whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
Read up on what she is talking about, because she's about to make some very serious decisions for this country.
So. Well, I hope she gets to. I don't know if she's voted in yet or not. I don't know how that works really. Yeah. But it's incredible. And she says, let's start at the root problem and go from there. And that's something like, that's what you do. Yeah. That is what you need to do. Not leave with the prescription, because then that prescription could, like I tell people, I'm not anti-medicine.
No. And I did want to, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to circle back to that. And I don't mean you should never be on medicine, or even worse, if you are on medicine right now, you listen to this podcast and you're like, I'm quitting. No, for the record, we're not saying that. Yeah. It just shouldn't be the first line of defense. It just should not be on your first visit with a new doctor. You should not be leaving there with a new prescription. Okay. You just shouldn't. No. You should be looking into the other things. Right. As long as you are not actively dying, you should be, all right, let's go home,
And it's okay to get a second opinion. You may really 100%. Love your doctor. It's okay to get a second opinion. Absolutely. I absolutely love my cardiologist. I grew up having what we thought was some heart problems, because I kept fainting all the time and having heart palpitations, and I had heart monitors and all this stuff. Well, we literally could never figure it out. And then we found out an autonomic dysfunction, which the water wasn't getting to like my brain quick enough when I guess I was feeling like I was going to pass out. Sure. Well, you want to know the solution? That's pretty easy.
Electrolytes.
Yes. Yep. That's pretty damn easy, right? Yes. I know that now. Yeah. And,
people are like, what are, okay, for those of you that don't know what electrolytes are, they are magnesium, potassium, sodium, and they're usually found in electrolyte water. A lot of times you can add them as a powder now. Make sure you're looking for the right powder. Yes. Most of them have sugar in them, so don't find the ones that have sugar. I personally drink LMNT. I think that's a good brand.
I've never heard of that. Okay, love that. I've been drinking Relight.
Okay, yeah,
which is a healthier one as well.
Yep. Make sure you're getting your electrolytes.
Yes. Liquid IV. I hate to say it. It's not a good one.
Not a good
I have some in my cabinet right now.
Sure, yeah,
and we're going to finish it. But it's not a good one. We're going to finish it until we can buy another one.
I love that.
But that's the truth.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Our next purchase will be Relight.
For sure. And I love that, Camilla, because it's all about making small choices in the right direction. You don't have to go nuts. Yeah. Because there is, like anything in life, there is a toxic part of this wellness journey.
Yes.
And thankfully, I think I've already been through it. I've been on this journey now. Well, I've been obviously a healthcare professional for almost a decade, not just an occupational therapist, but working in the healthcare field. But I've been on my personal health journey now, I would say for 3 years.
Okay.
And I've been through the toxic part already.
Okay. Well, explain that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you at least got a taste of it, because you kind of mentioned you were in this postpartum anxiety and it felt like information overload. And you probably felt like, compounded with being a mom, not only are you destroying your own health just by waking up and breathing every day, but you are destroying your kids.
Everything. I freaked out. And we weren't in a place to be like, throw everything away, buy everything new.
Right.
So then it was even harder.
Every second of every day, you just feel like you are poisoning yourself.
Right. Yes.
Which skyrockets your cortisol and makes you feel like you are losing it.
Right.
And dying. Like by a million cuts.
And called a hypochondriac.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So you can take it to a toxic place where you're like, no, we can't have that. No. And it consumes you. And it becomes not just everything you think, but it's literally like your identity.
Yeah.
So try not to let it go there. It's okay if you do.
Yes.
Because it is part of the journey. But try not to let it go there. Try not to make it feel like everything and every person, everything I'm doing is toxic and I'm killing myself.
Right.
Not necessarily true.
Right.
But start making small changes and small choices and release the shame, because that's, I feel like I went through, I was shameful, shame. And just, the horrible things that you say to yourself in your head and these little sound bites of like, well, how could you possibly not have realized? Like, how could you have done that?
How are you so blinded by this? Yeah.
Release that shame. Because here's a little clinical pearl for everybody. I'll give you all this one for free. You will not heal if you are not neurologically and mentally regulated and well.
Right.
Okay. So even if you are doing all the supplements, all the exercise, all the good things, all the diet, but if you are one little anxiety ball about everything that you do, you will not heal.
No.
You have to get well mentally and you have to regulate your nervous system before any of those supplements will take hold or any of that good diet will take hold. And sometimes they go hand in hand. But so I had to kind of get through that. And, Cody was instrumental sometimes in helping, like, pull me back from the ledge. Like, honey, we're going to be fine. Yeah. And look how good you are doing. And so I would encourage you to talk to yourself the same way that a loving husband or a friend would talk to themselves. You did the best that you could at the time with the tools that you had. That was great. Today, you would just have, I don't even say you're better. You could say that you're better, but you just have different tools today.
Right.
So you're just a more skilled tool clinician in your own self. Yes. You are the expert of your body. And 10 years ago and 5 years ago and 1 year ago, you had different tools. Today, you have different tools.
Right.
And you're going to use those tools differently.
Right. 100%. Back to the cardiologist thing, really quick. Yeah. Because it kind of ties into that. They put me on Fludricort, which is a steroid, and it is absolutely terrible for you. I blew up like a balloon. I'm like a really small person. Like I was like a little, like tiny little thing, and I get on this thing, and it's like boom, watermelon boobies. And like I was playing soccer, so they said that that's not steroids. It's not performance enhancing, but like I was thick but my face was thick. My self-confidence was shit. If I wasn't so good at soccer, that scares me for people who don't play sports or are active and don't get this out of their system through that, and now my parents are also on this journey. Like they're even probably ahead of me because my mom got cancer, but that's a whole other thing. But she's like, man, I regret that, but I did what I knew.
She did what she could.
What I thought was best at the time and was being guided by this cardiologist, blah, blah, blah. When in reality, I could have been drinking some Relight, even liquid IV, not the healthy one. It's not the healthy one. Whatever. I could have been drinking that.
Yeah.
But so this is what happened literally a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I love my doctor. She is so sweet.
Yeah.
But she told me, just keep drinking Gatorade.
Nope.
And I'm like, you are my doctor, a cardiologist. You see so many people, and you're telling me to drink Gatorade, which is people still drink it because they don't know, they're not educated in this yet. They're not on this journey yet. They're not awake. It is not good for you. Gatorade is terrible for you.
It is. It's got all the sugar and all the dyes.
All the dyes, all the sugar. It is terrible. And so when she said that, I was like, oh, and I go, like, I would never challenge her.
Yeah.
She's way smarter than me.
Sure.
But I'm like, okay, have you ever heard of Relight?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, what is that? And I said, it is a healthy electrolyte powder. Yeah. I said, you should look into it. Yeah. And she was like, okay, I will. And she was open to that. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But now I'm like, okay, I am doing so well.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to go here twice a year and pay $600 every time I come here. So that was my last appointment for
fair enough.
For until
and
I
you know
think I
what?
need to.
You're the expert in your own body, and you will know if and when it is time to go back.
Exactly.
You will, because you are the expert in your own body. And I encourage everyone to take that in and know that to be true. Nobody knows your body the way that you know it. You've lived in it now for as long as you've been alive.
Yeah.
No one knows it better than you. So advocate for yourself. A little shameless plug, by the way, if you want nature's Gatorade, I have I have a recipe for it on my Instagram.
Very cool.
Yep. I'll say it right now. It's
You'll
not that
send me the
life-changing.
link
I
and
will
I'll
totally
put it
send
on
you the
there.
link. Yeah.
Very
but
cool.
it's super simple. It's not quite as powerful as the electrolytes found in like the powders that you get. But it's just a natural electrolyte drink that you make with normal ingredients that grow out of the ground.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool. And you're into sourdough now too.
I am, okay. I'm so glad you brought me to that. This is a great example of how wellness can get toxic, believe it or not. So listen in. I know that was such a cliffhanger. Love sourdough. Literally obsessed with it. Cody has rheumatoid arthritis, so avoiding gluten at all times is great for us. And in general, I also think most people have some sort of gluten intolerance.
Right.
So we exclusively eat sourdough in our house.
It's the best bread for
and it's
you.
the best.
It's good for your gut.
So good. And it's good for your gut, but it's also good.
It tastes so good with butter on it. Oh,
it is insane how good it tastes. Like it's so good. Anyway, so I'm like anything else, because I wanted fresh eggs, so I got the chickens. Like I do, if I want something, I do it myself. Okay, so I get an awesome sourdough starter from one of my friends who had been successfully making sourdough for a year. That's the other thing. If you do go down the sourdough journey, make sure your starter is good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
For sure. So I got a good one, and I start making it, and it was fun. In fact, I loved the discard recipes more than I loved the actual bread.
Yeah.
But, you can make like biscuits and crackers and stuff that, again, is just so much healthier than the junk that you buy at the store. But it was, to keep that sourdough starter alive was like very difficult. I work full time and I run my household. I do not have kids, but I have lots of animals, and we're busy folks.
You are busy.
We're busy folks. So it did get to the point one day I was like, because I was setting alarms. I was trying to figure out I was on my calendar on my phone,
like your newborn baby,
literally. And I'm like, okay, when am I going to feed this thing? And I'm like scheduling it. And then I was like getting stressed about it. And then I was like, hold up, this is causing me more stress than it's worth. I am going to let go of this piece. Maybe not forever. I would love to get back into it, because I love to bake and cook anyways.
Yeah.
Like it aligns great with me and my soul. Just not today.
Right.
Not this week. Not this month.
Right.
And that is okay.
That's what you got to do.
I'm going to buy the sourdough from the store or from my local market that I love. So just because something didn't work for you, if it is causing you more stress to be healthy in that one area, let it go.
Yeah.
and find a substitute.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
But also get you some sourdough starter because it is fun too.
So my sister bought me like some stuff to make it. And then I'm like, you didn't give me any, like what is a basket and like something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I think you have to have like the starter thing. Cause my friend started doing it.
Yeah.
And so now I know, I'm like, okay, well, I haven't done it yet, but I totally would love to. I don't think I'm going to do it right this second.
Right. Yeah. Cause again, you need at least a full day to actually make the bread.
Yeah.
If anything, you kind of need, like the recipe I was following, you had to feed it for 4 days prior. That's
crazy.
I know. And I'm like, okay, this is too much for me.
But it's so, I'm not there yet. I think like John Henry starts school in August, so they'll be in school. Maybe, maybe I'll do something like that then.
For
but
sure. Yes.
We do love sourdough bread. It's so good.
It is so good.
Back to us talking about starting things, like doing one thing at a time.
Yes, so important.
I got to say, my morning routine is like, I have like a ritual with it.
Yes.
And it is, I like look forward to it.
Yeah.
I would say, like, of course, sleep is so important.
It is so important.
Super, super important.
Yes.
And I've said this, I had one episode where it was just me talking, where I kind of talked about this. Mm-hmm. Put your phone away. It's so hard, especially when you're a parent. You're you're like, okay, this is me time. Now they're asleep and now I can be on my phone. Yep. Actually, don't do it. Don't watch a show. Just try it one day.
Yes.
I did it last week. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock, 2 days in a row. Man, I felt so good. Yeah. My brain wasn't all, from staring at my phone, all this information and the rays. Yeah. So, side note on that.
Totally. Well, and Camilla, you're not, it's not just the placebo effect in this case. You're not just like making it up. Yeah. There is real science-backed data that absolutely supports the exact feeling that you just said. Again, we could go through a whole podcast.
Yeah. Oh, I know. This. Yeah. Gary Brecka sleeps with a EMF shield around his bed.
For sure.
And his wife, the first night they did it, she was literally like having withdrawals from the freaking EMF from probably your phone and the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It sucks because there's so much you can do. And I mean, I can't afford that thing.
For sure.
So I try to keep it like 2 feet away from me. Yep. And I'm trying not to get on it. Sometimes for business, like I'm like, okay, I got to make my post now. Just I'm telling y'all, try it just to get a good sleep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I encourage people to ditch their phone and TV, anything that has blue light, even like fluorescent lights. If you have, like our kitchen lights, the can lightings are really bright. I don't think they're fluorescent, but they're like that bright white light. Yeah. Those go off in my house at 6 o'clock. Like, good. I mean, we turn on lamps, we get low lighting going on, we enjoy the sunset. Like nothing is bright in our house starting, obviously this changes winter to summer. This does change, but like follow the sun's rhythm because that's what we were meant to follow.
That's what we're meant to follow.
Exactly.
We were talking about God and him creating us. Like I've said this every time because Gary Brecka said it and I love it. We have to get back to what God gave us. And so we're actually meant to be outside like 80% of the day.
Yeah.
Our
and
feet
moving
constantly.
Moving.
Some people do have those jobs where they're sitting there, but they have new things where you can have a standing desk or something. But anyway, morning routine. I wake up.
Important.
I have to be hydrated, obviously more than a normal person because of my thing. Yeah. So I'm chugging water. I mean, I'm drinking so much water, and then I put my protein. I don't know if you've heard of it. I always forget what it's called, but Gary Brecka sells it. It's like 9 amino acids in the purest form of protein. And
I'm sure I have because I follow him, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
It doesn't even break a fast. Yeah. Like it's so pure. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I chug that and then I go outside. The sun's coming up. I'm like, I'm being a freaking human. Like that's what we're meant to do.
Without your phone.
Without my phone.
Yes. I love it.
I do have like a prayer app, and so usually before the kids get up, I'll like have that going. Yeah. But I go outside, I'm taking the sun, I'm watching the sunset, I'm awake. I'm like, all right, let's go. Yeah,
it's incredible. Let me lay this little fact on you.
Yes.
So your body, your eyes communicate with your brain, and so when you first wake up, your body is giving off cortisol, which is like the stress hormone, and everybody's like, oh, that's terrible. Well, no, it wakes you up. It doses just enough to like, oh, it's time to be up.
Right.
So to follow that up and to shut the cortisol off so that it doesn't go overboard and overdose you, you go out into the sunshine.
Yeah.
And that the specific rays that are coming during the sunrise, it's almost like it was literally designed for us.
That's crazy.
Those rays that you're getting are different than the rays, kind of like when you're breastfeeding,
Yes,
the breast milk can change.
thinking that.
The rays of the sun change from the morning to noon to evening. And they are set up to support what wake state you're supposed to be in at that time.
Yep.
So in the morning, you get that morning sunlight and it sets you up. And it almost starts a timer for when you're supposed to go to sleep that night. So you are not only are you waking yourself up and setting yourself up for an amazing day, but you're also setting yourself up for an amazing night. It's like so cool how that works. Yeah.
And when you get into this stuff, like some people think it's cuckoo. They think you're silly because, you know, some people do maybe go a little overboard or they make it sound a little silly.
Yeah.
But it is just so true. And this is it. This is how God made our bodies.
It just works.
And I don't care about any of the backlash or anybody saying that because do y'all feel like me? Do you know how good I feel right now?
Yeah.
I have been through absolute hell. I've been at rock bottom with mental health, which made my physical health terrible. I mean, I look back at videos and I'm like, I look like I was dying, and I can just see it in me. And now I'm like, I pulled myself out of this. Yeah. I didn't do it with medication. I mean, you go to that 6-week appointment, you're depressed. Here is some medication. Try this. Yep. Nope. I did try it, and literally, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I think I tried it for a couple of days, and I don't even remember. But I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I got to get out of this. For sure. And it took work, and it took some time. Absolutely. But it's so worth it. Now that my morning routine, it's my ritual. It's.
I mean, do you feel as awake as a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah. I do not drink coffee. I do drink tea.
Okay.
I usually either do an English breakfast tea or a green tea in the morning, but not until after I've been awake for about an hour.
Yeah.
But I feel as awake from just 15 minutes in the sunlight in the morning than a cup of coffee. So this is real, folks. If you want to try it, try that.
Yes.
Seriously.
I am addicted to coffee, but I wait 20 to 30 minutes after my protein because it takes that much to
get in there,
absorb in your body.
Yeah,
apparently.
Totally. Yeah.
And I also take creatine, which like you said earlier,
there's really cool new research
great research about it, and it gives me energy. It boosts my cognitive function.
Yes.
It's incredible for reproductive health on all levels. Yes. And I don't mean just fertility, all levels. Yep. There's research about it while you're pregnant.
For sure.
I encourage everyone to read. I'd love to, maybe one day you can come on and we can even just talk about that research.
I know. It's crazy how many different sub podcasts we could come from, episodes we could come from.
But this is just, it's so important. But, and then I have because I'm addicted to coffee. I just love the taste. I make it with whole cream. Sometimes I get raw milk cream. Yeah. Have you ever had it?
I have not.
Oh, it tastes so good. I could literally get a spoon and be like, it's so good. But I have a frothy ass coffee and I just love it.
Yes.
I would love to not have to do it. Yeah. But like you said, sometimes I'll be like, I am so awake. I don't even need this. I'm just addicted to
it's for pleasure.
Coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but you're right. I do feel after that morning routine.
It's amazing. Yeah. So I forgot to kind of finish my fact. So you're fine. You need, I believe it's anywhere between 2 and 5,000 lumens, which is just a measurement of light in order to set up your, or kind of stop that cortisol and set up your melatonin for that night. Well, the inside, usually even from lights, what you get is about 1,000 lux. And you need 2 to 5,000. Okay, so remember that 2 to 5,000 range. You need that to wake up.
Right.
Because a lot of times what I hear when I've given this advice to both patients or friends, they're like, okay, well, what about in the winter or, even just in the summer? Kind of today, it's kind of cloudy. Mm-hmm. Even on a cloudy day, you get 5,000 lux when you go outside. On a sunny day, you can get 50,000 lux on a sunny day. So you're good. Even on a cloudy day, get outside. And you'll be amazed. You'll go outside and you're like, oh yeah, this is brighter than it is inside. This is crazy. Because on the inside, on a cloudy day, you're like, nah, it's basically dark out there. But you go out and you're like, oh, I get it.
And just breathing in that air and oh my gosh.
Yeah. So my morning routine, I go do everything that you just said, except I'm also checking on my chickens. And for me, it is literally meditation. I mean, it's not I'm not sitting there going or anything like that, but it is my meditation. And then in the summertime, I'm checking on my chickens and I'm also checking on my tomatoes and my plants in my garden. And it is meditation. And it sets me up for the most amazing day.
Yeah.
And on the days that I don't have the time, because there are those days,
Yeah.
and that day starts a little different, I can feel it.
Oh,
I
same.
feel the difference the
Same.
rest of the day and maybe even into that night.
100%.
It's crazy.
Same.
So yeah, you're right on the head with that morning routine.
So important. Have you heard of Barbara O'Neill?
I have. She's awesome. She's
freaking obsessed with
yeah, she's great. She's a pioneer in the field of aging for sure, and Alzheimer's and dementia prevention. She's fantastic. Yes,
She's awesome.
Yep.
This book sustained me.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I would love to borrow
I
it.
have everyone needs this
Yeah.
in their house because
Yeah.
if you have a headache and you don't want to take Tylenol,
Yep.
because Tylenol is bad for you.
Yeah.
She has some options that you can do, and one I'll give you an example. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on. I had a headache for like 4 months. Like it was
I'm
just
sorry,
there.
4 months?
It was just there, like, and it would get really bad, but it would never fully go away. I just
Interesting. Underlying.
could feel it. I don't know what it was. I thought maybe it's mold. Like, is there mold in it? And so I went down the whole rabbit hole.
Sure.
The mold in the house. You can imagine. That was my toxic.
Thank God you're married to, he's a plumber, right?
Yeah. And we actually do have mold, but apparently it's not toxic. But I don't believe anybody, and I'm getting it out of my house because why do I have a headache? Then I go to the beach and I'm fine. That's weird. But I am home now, obviously, and I don't have a headache. So, anyway. You put your feet in a bathtub of really hot water. Like, obviously don't hurt yourself.
Right.
And if you have, she says, like, if you have a medical condition, you know, like where you have purple feet all the time or something, don't do it.
Right.
And I'm not a doctor. But I put my feet in a hot bath.
Yeah.
And then I put a really cold rag like on my forehead and my neck.
Yeah.
And then it was like for 5 minutes. And then when I got out, your blood from your head like rushes to your feet to, you know, I guess protect your feet or something because it's something traumatic to it. Sure. Hot water happened. Yeah. And then it rushed back and I didn't have a headache anymore.
Wow.
That is insane.
How
What
long
if
did
everybody
that
knew
take?
that?
Right, exactly. How long did that take to take effect?
Immediately.
Wow. So essentially the same as a pill.
Yes.
Without all the
side effects. That's pretty nuts. What if everybody had this book and read that? There's stuff about vertigo on here.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you know, we are only 1 or 2 generations. You know, Tylenol wasn't just like available 50 years ago. Maybe not 50. I don't know. I would have to fact check that.
Yes.
But, you know, like it wasn't just something that people like had, you know, people, or even the grocery store. People didn't just get to go get a frozen pizza they had to work a little harder, and they knew this is ancient wisdom that we're talking about. And we are only a couple generations removed from it. And big pharma, big food, big all those, you know, they don't want you to know that there are simple remedies. Do you know, honestly, my health journey kind of started because I was like, oh my God, I so don't want to go to the store and I'm just going to put like laundry soap.
Yeah.
Or honestly, I think it was like cleaner. Like I think it was like multi-purpose cleaner. And I was like, oh, I'm out of it. I don't want to go to the store and get it. And I just remember kind of thinking, I was like, I wonder if I can just like make it.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then I remember, I mean, I was already on the like diet and stuff, but this is more like the toxic stuff in our, you know, that really only started for me like a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, I can make it out of vinegar.
Yeah, I was gonna say vinegar.
Baking soda. Yeah. And I could squeeze some lemons in there. Are you kidding?
Yes.
I have all 3 of those things right now. I don't have to go to the store. Score.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of how it started. And then I would just like make my own cleaner. And then I started making my own
detergent.
And my own like face wash or whatever. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, if you go buy Castile soap, I buy Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. There's lots of brands now, but Dr. Bronner's is one of the OGs. And I'm like, it has a recipe on the side for like everything.
Yep.
You don't have to make all these different cleaners. Yeah. Your dog, you know, like for some reason the stores and these companies have us convinced that every part of your body, including your left toe, needs a different cleaner than your left ear or your right ear, and your dog needs a special cleaner. And also there's men's and women's cleaners. That's actually not true.
Yeah, 100%.
You can pretty much, you know, clean everything with essentially the same things.
Yeah.
Unless you are talking about some heavy duty, you know, like infectious MRSA or things like that. Then you do need to start bringing in the heavy hitters like bleach. But, you know, outside of that, you can just clean most things, including your body with like Castile soap and maybe vinegar.
Yeah. And thank God for people like her.
Yes. Who are bringing that knowledge back.
Bringing it back before they're gone.
Totally.
And thank God for people who are on this journey like we are.
Yeah.
I know women who have been on this for 10 years, though, like way ahead of me. I just had no idea about any of this stuff. I mean, I was putting, when Chester was born, I had a freaking wallflowers. Remember that with Bed Bath and Bath and Body Works?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? That's the worst thing. That's started really opening up. Like my mind started opening up with that stuff because that stuff is so bad for you.
Okay, how about now when you do go to somebody's house that has the fragrance
and you're
in it,
dying
immediately?
You're like,
you can like I'm like, I can't breathe. I have a headache. Like it's immediate.
A bad candle, you know when it's bad.
Yes.
It is immediate.
Yes, and it is. And your body, it's like now that we've kind of detoxed from it, your body goes, like, warning, 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 warning.
100%.
And that's where I do have to try to be like, okay, you're fine.
I know.
An hour is not going to kill you.
Yes.
A couple of days is not going to kill you. Like, it's going to be fine.
I know.
But at the same time, I'm like,
I know. So, side note, don't have wallflowers, especially like
check all the fragrances in your house.
Yes, check your fragrances because it's not silly. It's not just it's fine, especially if you have a baby.
Yes.
Look at the roof. I don't know if that's called a roof, but look at the inside of your baby's nose. If there's coloring in there, that's from those bad fragrances or a candle that's unhealthy. Totally. They don't need to be breathing that stuff.
No, they do not.
I'm very serious about opening our windows.
Absolutely.
And because this just holds in some, if there's toxins, I don't know, but whatever, like even if you're cooking, open your windows, open your doors. Absolutely. If a bug comes in, you can kill it. It's okay.
Thank you for that.
It's okay.
Oh my God. And you know what? And we need to talk to Cody about this too, because he's like, and I get it. Like he's like anti-bug. Oh, there's a fly in the house. And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah. We can
okay, we'll kill it. Or like, we'll shoo it out. Like it's fine. It is fine. So if y'all are afraid of bugs, I get it. It is a real phobia, but take some deep breaths.
Get a screen.
It's going to be fine. Like let the fresh air in your house.
You got to. It just makes a difference.
Where would you say you're at now? Like what's a big like question that you have, or what's your next kind of thing that you're like on this health journey that you're wanting to explore, you're interested in?
Yeah. I would say I'm into reading books right now, and I'm reading 2 books that are really about vaccine history. One is more so about vaccine history, and the other one is about informed consent. Yeah. Because I actually was vaccine injured, and I haven't shared this on the podcast yet. Okay. Because to be honest with you, I didn't really think about it. I just was thinking about my kids, and then getting to talk to my mom about it. I was injured from the Gardasil vaccine, which many, many people were. Yeah. I went in there and got it, and I remember it like literally it was yesterday. It felt like thick, like bumblebees went through my, I guess, blood, like your veins, and were stinging me throughout my body. Like it literally felt like that, and I was like, I was screaming, and then I fainted. Wow. And it wasn't like a needle. Yeah. It wasn't like that, because I had been poked and prodded trying to figure out what was going on with me, with the heart stuff. So it wasn't me fainting because of that. It was because I had a severe reaction to it. Yeah. And I got vaccine injured, because I then had severe low iron, and I had to start getting iron infusions monthly. Interesting. So I'm hanging out in the chemo ward with cancer patients getting iron. Wow. And it made me so weak. And this happens probably a month to 3. I don't know exactly. I asked my mom, I was like, let's go back and look at these files so I know exactly when it was. But we guessed a month to 3 months after it happened. This is when I figured out what was wrong with me. I was so weak. Yeah. Couldn't even barely kick the soccer ball. I went from soccer star to feeling like this. I'll never forget showing up to my preseason. I got to play Division I soccer, and they're like, the seniors are like, oh, we've heard about you. Like, you're so fast, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just had to get an iron infusion this morning, and I can barely move. And I'm still trying to run out there and do it. And they're like, this girl sucks because I can barely move. And it's because my iron was so bad because of a vaccine that I didn't even need. Wow. But anyway, that's the journey I'm on. I gotcha. But I love where I'm at, where I'm open-minded and I'm awake, and I'm someone that's very much okay with changing my mind. Yeah, totally. I'm very much okay if I say something wrong, because I never say like the right thing all the time. Yeah, I will apologize and change where I stand or whatever. Sure. But now I'm like, okay, I want to know the history. Yeah, I'm kind of upset that I wish I like was more into the history like in college and school, because I'm like, dang, I'm in these classes. We weren't talking about that, but I'm like, now I'm really into it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm in the learning the history of it, so that when I have a conversation with people, I can say, well, this vaccine was created and it did save lives, but we don't have this disgusting water anymore, or we don't, you know what I mean? Or we don't live in this environment anymore, but these people over here might, and they might still need that vaccine or something. So I'm kind of in that.
I think that's such an that's a very, very good thing to point out and say, because it should just be such a personal decision. And that's where, you know, I consider myself vaccine neutral. Yeah. I'm still doing a lot of my own research. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the healthcare field. I'm not going to just throw away the education that I have been given, which thus far has been that vaccines are, you know, 100% effective and should be used. So I'm not just going to like toss that aside because I read an Instagram post. Right. But I'm really curious because I am starting to like, not just hear anecdotes and stories like what you just gave, but there's some real research that actually, and actually if you do read the side effects of vaccines, they, you know,
you go and read the inserts.
Yeah. They're just as,
you're not told them. We need to be educated on it. And I'm not someone that was like the best at school. I had to really study, but it was even more memorizing. So I didn't really retain the information and it sucks. So now I'm like really trying to retain this information so I can do this for my kids.
Right, totally.
Because where I was with Chessa, I mean, and Raylan, I just had no idea about any of this stuff. And like you were talking about the shame.
Yes, release it.
Oh, I did. I have. I still sometimes I'm like, ugh, so mad. But I'm not. I'm not mad at myself. I'm mad at. I was failed by our government. I was failed by our doctors. But I want to say maybe they were failed by where they went to school, by their, you know what I mean. So like they're victims in this terrible system. But anyway, so
I someone which I can link I don't know who it is off the top of my head, but I listened to a Instagram video one time that kind of detailed out all the different vaccines and it related them to like real world incidents, if you will. So for example, it related, I'm not going to say them specifically because I don't know which ones, but it would say, oh, this vaccine is similar to the incidence rate of like a car accident. Oh, okay. Well, I'm in a car every day. Like it's like, that would be like, to me, that'd be like putting on your seatbelt. To me, that vaccine makes sense. This vaccine, the incidence rate of it is more like if you went to space and you were in a spaceship and then it blew up. Yeah. Oh, well, I
probably don't need that.
Because I don't go in a spaceship. Yeah. But maybe for an astronaut, that vaccine makes sense. You know, like it is a personal decision.
It is.
I think this is a good time to bring up that there's super interesting research coming out about the MTHFR gene mutation.
I'm so glad you just said that.
Go get checked. Adults and kids, but especially kids. The MTHFR gene mutation.
The motherfucker gene. Not supposed to.
I know. It doesn't have to be scary, but it does have some interesting and potentially scary ramifications if you don't pay attention, you know, again, to your personal, what your body needs. It's a uniqueness to you that deserves to be respected.
Yeah. I think 40% of Americans have it. Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah. So it's a higher number than you might think. It's not like this random, it's a pretty high number. And the MTHFR, there's some complicated higher up, but what you need to know about it most is that it your body has difficulty converting folate in the body.
Right.
And then therefore there's a whole cascade of events that take place, but one of them is not being able to detox toxins that come into your body, such as heavy metals, mold, and parasites, and those
vaccines.
Kind of things. Yeah. Because vaccines have heavy metals in them.
Yeah.
So if your baby, I think it's worth asking your doctor, or again, finding a doctor who is willing to genetically test. It's a,
you can even do it without a doctor.
Yep. And get tested to find out if they have the MTHFR gene mutation. And if they do, then your decisions about vaccine, again, they're personal and they should stay behind the door of you and your doctor. You don't have to discuss them. But that should be a factor in your decision-making for a vaccine, because your child will have a harder time in detoxing the extra stuff that's in the vaccines if they have the MTHFR gene. And that should make it should be on the table when you're discussing it with your doctor. And you can still choose to get the vaccine. It's okay, but at least you have all the information.
Yes. And the gene can also can't it make you like have deficiencies in some things where let's say you find out you have it and you're like, I have a deficiency in, I don't know, vitamin D or something. Or,
and then the supplement that you take, guess what? Doesn't work because the MTHFR gene doesn't allow it to be broken down correctly. So you have to take a special one. It usually is has methyl in front of it. So for example, folate, it will have methylfolate.
Right.
COBA, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
another thing. Folic acid is
synthetic
folate.
Yes.
So, that scared me. That's hysterical. That scared me. That is so funny. The kids are here.
The kids and the dogs are
Here we
arrived.
are,
I guess we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, we could talk. So we're going to have to do another episode.
I know, we totally have to.
But I do want to say that when you're getting a future moms, postpartum moms, because it is healthy to take a prenatal vitamin.
Totally.
You can take a postnatal vitamin or whatever, but it's healthy to take it while breastfeeding and getting through postpartum. But get a prenatal vitamin that has folate, not folic acid, because it is really, you don't want synthetic.
No,
in
it makes
body.
a total difference.
It really does.
Absolutely. And then again, get yourself tested for MTHFR. And then you might not just need folate, you might need the methylcobal, again, I'm totally butchering the name, but you know, it's like this long thing that is folate in the form that your body needs so that it can actually break it down.
Never heard about this gene until listening to Gary Brecka, and it's just mind-blowing. I have not been tested for it.
It's highly correlated with ADHD as well. So if you have ADHD, definitely check your MTHFR. Because guess what? You might not need Adderall. You might just need a different form of folate.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, boom.
How is this not common sense? How does every doctor not talk about this? But I actually have a mutual friend of ours coming on because her and her husband have it, and their daughter has a mutated gene of it. And she's going to talk about it, but they've decided not to vaccinate, but they knew that in the hospital, they need to have vitamin K drops because
rather than the shot.
The shot is synthetic.
Totally.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Averie.
Bombs out here, Camilla.
We are. Is there anything else? Maybe you can tell people like how to find you and maybe give an example of some issues someone might be having and how they can see you, because I do have a lot of friends who live in Nashville.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I know we kind of did get away from the occupational therapy thing, but here's the thing. We didn't really, because occupational therapy is whatever my client needs.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm a mobility and an exercise expert. That's where my training originated. And that's where, you know, the bulk of my education is mobility. But it's whatever a patient needs. It's whatever a client needs. And if that's talking about their morning routine, then that's what I offer them. But definitely the base why someone might seek my services at Revved Therapy is most likely they are starting to notice some functional changes. And what is that fancy? You know, not fancy word, but you know, what does functional change mean? Pain. Usually it is pain in somebody, you know, I'm having pain when I'm doing this. Maybe it is when you're exercising, but maybe it's something as simple as when you stand on one leg to like put your pants on or to get in the car or whatever, you're like, gosh, I'm feeling a hitch in my hip or my back or my arm or whatever. So people often seek me for help with mobility restrictions and or pain that come associated with that. I can be found at www.livingrevvedtherapy.com. I am legit. I got a website.
Love it.
And I'm on Instagram, Living Revved Therapy, and Facebook, Living Revved Therapy. So I'm working on a blog. That's my next kind of step. I do love writing, but I don't know why I feel all this pressure to like everything that I write in a blog I'm sure you probably feel the pressure in the podcast sometimes is like every word that comes out of my mouth has to be like this game-changing thing.
I know.
And I forget that sometimes
I have to say everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm working on the blog. But yeah, Living Revved Therapy. I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, and on just regular online. And you can drop me a line. It'll link right to my email, and I can do virtual sessions. But I love meeting people in person for sure, and meeting them where they're at. Especially if it is mobility issues, then I kind of got to put my hands on you.
Right. Do you refer people, like women, probably more to pelvic floor therapists a lot?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have not heard of, or you have heard of, but you're like, I don't need that. You probably do if you have had a kid, if you're pregnant, if you have had a child and you haven't had any attention, and especially if you're starting to have leakage, painful intercourse after, starting that again.
Fertility problems.
Fertility issues, all of that. You need to be talking to a pelvic health floor specialist. Absolutely. They are usually a physical or occupational therapist that you would see. Sometimes it's covered by insurance. Sometimes it's not. Refer back to our original comments.
Yep.
I feel like, it makes no sense why people aren't automatically referred to pelvic floor therapy or even taught about it. If you have a hip replacement, you go to therapy. If you break your arm, you go to therapy. There's so many instances in our medical system that you are automatically given a referral for therapy. Childbirth should absolutely be on that list.
Mind-blowing.
It is
I'm so thankful for my OB for right after Chesta came out. She's like stitching me up and she goes, "You're going to pelvic floor therapy."
That's
amazing. I was like, huh?
What it?
Thank God. Like, it changed my life.
Absolutely. And it's a specialty that I'm super interested in and would love to explore more.
I could so see you getting into that. How cool would that be?
It would be awesome. So I'm not there yet, but I see that as a place that I want to go. So yes, if you haven't heard of it before, do some research and get in it. Yes. You know what? It's also great. It's great for the pregnant mamas, but I've encouraged my mother postpartum because I'll never forget. She went to an orthopedic surgeon because her hips were hurting so bad. And I mentioned at the time, I'm a budding occupational therapist at the time. And I was like, well, what if she has labral tears? And he's like, well, if she's over 50 and she's had 2 kids, she almost definitely has labral tears. Every woman does. And I'm like, oh, like what a dismissive thing to say about like, oh, of course, if you're over 50 and you've had 2 kids, you're going to have, I'm like, wow.
Okay. So what should we do about it, buddy?
Yeah. Ugh. And so, if, even like menopausal women who are experiencing leakage, who are experiencing prolapse, which ladies, you don't want to find out what that is, but you will maybe someday.
Yeah, I have someone in my life that is dealing with that, and it is not fun.
No, it literally means that your organs are starting to come out of the holes.
Yeah.
So if you don't want that, if you don't want, the urinary incontinence, the leakage, and you know what? People just are like, oh yeah, that's normal.
Not normal.
Oh, have you had a baby? Oh, yep, that's not normal.
It's common. It's not
common because it's not treated.
Let's get the common out of there. Let's get this treated. Let's change postpartum lives. Let's change women's lives. I mean, it helps men too, but it should be a necessity.
It absolutely should. Mandatory.
How is it not?
Don't know. You heard it here first.
Yeah. I told you my pelvic floor therapist is doing some research. Awesome. That's what it's about because there has been research on things, but it gets denied. There actually has been a whole research thing. They took unvaccinated kids and vaccinated kids in one county. These moms did this, and they brought it to the government, and they didn't even look at it. So it sucks. But I pray to God that this research will help because this will change lives.
It really will. Absolutely.
But we could keep going.
We could.
Let's go. No, I'm kidding. One more hour. But thank you for coming on. Like, I'm just so impressed by you, and you are just a little badass, and I would love to talk more about homesteading too.
For sure. Oh, we didn't even jump into that. I know.
I just find it so fascinating, and I want to eventually really get into that.
I mean, again, we will be done for those listening, but my therapy business is rooted in the fact that nature is at the baseline. So a lot of my sessions take place in nature when at all possible.
Right. So cool. Well, I cannot wait to have you back on.
For sure. Thank you.
See you in a couple of weeks. Yes. But yes, thank you for doing this. And thanks, Cody, for, I guess, watching my kids.
Yeah, he's playing with Wade. Yeah, he's getting good practice in.
There they are. Oh, yes. We'll have to talk about that, too. All right. Bye, girls.
Bye.
And you gotta hug the ones who bring us joy and love. It's the feeling with the moms and it's a sourdough.